Do you ever wonder why you have difficult relationships with some people? Hi, I'm Cora Naylor, emotion co-practitioner. If you're joining me live, please say hi. I'd love to see who's here and where you're from. So the reason that some relationships can seem harder than others is that you might have a heart wall. And as Dr. Brad says, having a heart wall can make it harder to give and receive love. You may not be able to feel positive emotions as deeply, such as happiness, gratitude, empathy, and more. It can cause feelings of loneliness, isolation, and sadness. A heart wall may impact you physically as well. Ask yourself the following questions. If you answer yes to one or more, you may have a heart wall. Identifying this possibility is a great first step. Have you been injured emotionally in the past? Have you felt an emotional heaviness in your heart as though your heart was breaking? Do you feel as though you can't fully experience joy or happiness? Is it challenging for you to connect with others? Is it hard for you to connect romantically with others? Do you feel closed off to love? Do you often feel lonely or isolated from those around you? Do you feel heaviness or discomfort in your chest, neck, or shoulders? Does any of this sound familiar? If so, you may have a heart wall. And I see Dawn's joining. Thanks for joining in tonight, Dawn. The good news is that you can release a heart wall by using the emotion code. The emotion code is a process that allows you to release the trapped negative emotions that contribute to a heart wall. Tonight, in a few minutes, I'll be looking for volunteers if you do want to release a heart wall. If you have a specific person, sometimes it's your spouse, a partner, your kids, your in-laws, a coworker, a business partner, anybody, maybe an ex-spouse. Sometimes if you don't release a heart wall from previous exes, you can keep going out with that same personality type over and over. And I know that happens a lot. If you don't want to volunteer online here and just put your name out there, be happy to do that for you privately. Just send me a private message, or you can email me at cora@coranaylor.com. And, everybody's experience when they release a heart wall can be a little bit different. Some people will feel a little more connected to others, or more of a part of something. If you've always been one of those people, I know that happened to me often. I moved around a lot as a kid, and I didn't always feel like I was part of the crowd. I would come into groups where people had been friends for a long time, and it's difficult to connect. And having a heart wall removed can just help you to feel a little more connected. And if you haven't been on here before, this is episode number 6, so it's a pretty new show. And if you haven't been on before, you might be wondering, well, what the heck is this emotion code thing? So let me tell you a little bit about that. The emotion code was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson. So that's the book, The Emotion Code. He was a chiropractor and developed this process. The process itself allows you to release trapped emotions. So as you go through life and you have different kinds of events, negative events, if you don't process those emotions, they can trap in your body like little balls of energy all over the place. And sometimes they even can cause chronic aches and pains, in your neck or your shoulder or your back, whatever. And so you want to release those. I mean, typically growing up, we're not, um, taught how to process emotions as they happen to us in life. Often we're told, clamp it down, get over it, that kind of thing. And we don't really process the emotions. So, it's one of those things you want to do. And with heartache emotions, they will trap around your heart and actually create a wall to block your heart from some feelings, just to protect you, right? Your body's and your subconscious are out to protect you. So it's not always something that's in your best interest, but it is just there to help you. But we can get away with that. We can release that and get on with things. So tonight, like I said, I'll be doing a couple of demos. And for now, I'll just give you a little quick overview of how the emotion code works. So the first thing is we use what we call an emotion code chart. There's a chart of emotions here, and it looks a little like that. You can sort of see it on there. You could always just find it, Google if you Google the emotion code chart. Because they figure the average adult has about 200 or 300 trapped emotions. So we can have a lot of stuff that, we have trapped in there. Sometimes it's the same emotions because each emotion gets trapped with a specific event. So you can have the same emotion trapped in your body multiple times. And when we work together, there are options. Generally, I work with people doing this via a video call, or we can do it as a phone call, or I can even do it by email. Super easy. And the way we find these emotions are by using muscle testing. If you're not sure what that is, you can look that up on YouTube. There's tons of different ways of doing it. That's just a way of talking to your subconscious, because your subconscious knows and remembers everything you've ever done. A lot of times our conscious memory doesn't allow us to do that, but our subconscious does remember anything. So we can ask it questions. And with the emotion code, I'll ask questions that have either a yes or no answer. And how I do the muscle testing is I do it with this ring method. So I just have these fingers like this, hook them together. And when I ask the question, if it's a yes, the fingers stay tight. And if it's a no, it just slips right through. And that's how we can look at the chart and determine which emotions are causing your issues. And the way I do that, especially by doing it with the distance, I can't do it on you, so I become your proxy. So being your proxy just means that I can do the emotion code on myself as if it's you. And so that's pretty easy. And I do that by getting your permission. So I can't just go around willy-nilly doing this on everybody. It's tempting, but it's not really the way to do it. So as long as I've got your permission, I can do whatever needs to get done. If it's you, if you're an adult, I can get the permission directly from you. For kids, I just need permission from the adults. For animals, I just need permission from the owners. I've done work on cats, dogs. Like I said, in the past, I've done work with a lady's horse in Colorado, and I'm in the Vancouver area. So it's one of those things that can be done from a distance. And the first thing when we're getting ready that we want to do is figure out what the severity is. You can tell me the severity, or I can also use the muscle testing to ask your subconscious and see if your subconscious is saying the same thing. And if you're, kind of just wondering about this, like tonight we're talking about heart walls and relationships that might be a little awkward between different people. Sometimes it's your kids or whoever it is. You can't really say there's anything specific wrong, but the vibe just feels off. That's often because there's a heart wall, and you can have many kinds of heart walls. Usually there is a sort of a main heart wall that you have with the world, and that'll have a lot of emotions involved in that one. You can have a heart wall with yourself. You can have like a body wall if you have weight issues. Sometimes part of that is because of how you see yourself. So you have a body wall. You can have a heart wall with each individual person. So there's a lot of things that we can delete. But on top of that, if we could work together to do release anxieties, fears, limiting beliefs. A lot of people have negative self-talk, chronic aches and pains. So if you're not sure or you want to see an idea of what some of the other things are that we can do together, just comment below that you want a copy of my menu, and I'll get that sent out to you just to give you an idea of some of the other things that we could work on together. And so once I find the specific emotions on the chart, the next thing we want to do is get rid of those things. So the way I do that is by using a magnet. Now, the nice thing is it doesn't have to be any specific kind of magnet. You can get a fancy magnet if you want, but you can actually just use a magnet like a fridge magnet. My emotion code chart is a magnet. So what I'll do is I'll first scan the chart and I'll ask if it's, in column A or column B, and then is it in row? Which row is it in? I'll narrow down the exact emotion that's in that row, and then we'll just swipe away over my head. So most emotions are 3 swipes and that goes over the governing meridian, which runs from the bridge of your nose all the way down the back of your spine. That's used in a lot of Chinese medicine, that kind of stuff. And the thing when releasing it, it's kind of like releasing the magnetic strip on the back of your credit card. So once swiping is done, it just dissipates, and then that emotion is released. And before we get started doing that, we do need to make sure that I'm hydrated. And it also helps if the person doing that I'm working with is hydrated, but it doesn't always have to be. More for me, so I'll just have a drink of water while we're waiting. So that's the basic process. Yeah. Oh yeah, Dawn. Yeah, some, aches and pains. We all have those kinds of things. They can come and go. But, that's something that we could work on together. So I don't see anyone else on here with me tonight. Thanks so much for joining, Dawn. Nice to have you here. If, the emotion code looks like something you'd like to try, you're not too sure about it, here's the link to my site where you can book a session. And like I said, if you just want a copy of the menu, just comment below and I'll send it out to you, because sometimes, you're not sure the kinds of things that we can work on together. But I appreciate you watching the video, guys. And if you want, you can join me again here next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we'll be talking about relationships some more. So have a good evening, everyone.